Welcome back to another video. Today we are making a tank in Brickrigs. This is a tutorial so you know how to do it for yourself. Right now I am scaling the tank and making sure it's a good size. I do this by looking at a chair next to the tank and, sizing it. I paint it grey because when it's grey it's actually easier to see all of the parts. Here I'm placing the axles, which are one of the most important parts because it's the most complicated part of building a tank. I will explain how later. Making sure everything's to scale and good part distances from each other is also important. As seen here, I'm making sure that the axles are not too close and not too far away to give it more of a look like a tank. Learning how to copy and paste is quite an important part of building anything in Brickrigs, and really all you need to do is press Ctrl+C like anything else, as if it was a Google thing. Moving is also easy. You press G on whatever you want to move, and you hold Shift to move it up and down. Across is all the other things such as Z, X, and W, A, S, and D. These ways of moving it are one of the best ways to move them because all of the other ways are extremely complicated and really stupid. And if you use them, you need mental help. As seen there, I have placed the wheels, and now we're going to place the engine. This is the most important part of the entire thing, the sensors. These make the tank move like a tank, and it's actually extremely difficult, which I will explain in detail in a second. Right here I'm selecting all of the things, and as you will see, that panel on the side is where I will select a certain type of movement thing for the axles. It is a custom thing, so instead of steering we go custom, and we set a certain number. It can be any number as long as it matches what its sensor will be. So here we use a random number, and it's the same for brakes as well. You have to do it on custom and the random number as well. Suspension is important if you don't want your tank wobbling, so here I just set random suspension values. I will talk more about suspension another time. Now for the most important part, the sensors. You select one of the sensors and put it to something like steering or brakes, and then you set the number on channel index to whatever the number on the axle was for that specific thing, whether it's steering or brakes, and it has to be one of two. Steering will be this one, well no, it's brakes, and we set the same number as what the brakes on the thing is. And on the other one, there's two for each. We set brakes for alt as well as normal brakes. And you have to do it for each thing. So steering, brakes, and the engine if you want faster engine, but we're fine with that, so we kind of just ignore it. Now that I've shown how the most important part of this build works, we go into a test drive to make sure it works. As seen here, it doesn't because I'm an absolute doofus and forgot to set it to tank steering, which is easily fixed by simply going into the editor, clicking on your engine, and making it tank steering. And as you can see here, it now works like a tank. This is how you make tank steering in Brickbricks. Now we go into a speed build of the rest of the tank. While in the speed build, I would like to mention a few more things, such as armor. Armor is easily achieved by simply making certain bricks into denser materials such as tungsten. Layout is not very important, it's just a thing I like to do, and building is also not that important. As seen here, I'm just kind of getting carried away, I really shouldn't have, but it's always fun to build. You don't have to build your tank exactly like this, it just has to work effectively. A few seconds ago you might have observed that strange brick that I could scale. It's called a scalable brick and they are quite useful for building. You can use the sliders on the side of them to make them certain sizes, different shapes. There are many types of scalable bricks and they are the most effective way of building anything. Although I don't like to use them that much because I am a doofus. I make quite a few mistakes during the building process, including like placing wrong bricks and things like that. You do not need to make mistakes, I just really suck at this game sometimes. I place a turret ring in a second here, but it's more unintentional. It's not quite the ring I'm looking for, so I delete it after realizing that it's too thick. My father is mowing in the background, so please do not mind the noise. Here, I am placing actuators. Despite not being quite ready to set their keybinds, I will show the keybinds in a minute, so that you can make yourself a fully working turret. Right now I'm just adding detail and making the turret itself. I realize I can't turn the turret without setting the keybinds, and this is a very important part. You have to press on it and find the certain movement thing you want, such as yaw, which is back and forth. That way you can turn it. And if it's inverted, you have to change its turret speed to minuses, and then it goes the correct ways, as seen there. Here I am starting to get ready to place the second set of actuators which let the gun go up and down. I decide that that's not a very good design, so I do a different one. Here I actually place the actuators, which I should have done in the first place instead of just staring at the bricks for like 5 minutes. And I am putting in the second parts of the actuators. Actuators always have two parts, and they are very important. Each piece lets it move. Setting the keybinds at the moment is very important. So, for up and down, you want pitch. So pitch is up and down. If you know helicopters, you'll know that. And it's usually already in the perfect keybinds, and you do not need to change it. And now back to the torture of watching me mess up repeatedly in the speed build. thank you guys for watching my crappy tutorial. Subscribe, like, and share with others. Hopefully it can help you out in your first brick rig build.